What's going on, people, and welcome to my match recap and player ratings for Manchester United's game against Atletico Madrid. It actually happened a few nights ago. I didn't upload yesterday. I usually upload the day after the game, but I didn't yesterday because I've been ill the last few days and I just wasn't up to it yesterday, so that's why the video wasn't there. United crash out of the Champions League. Very disappointing. I'm not totally surprised, to be honest. I did say in the preview that I felt that it was more likely that they would win than we would, even though I felt that we could win. I thought it was more likely that Atletico would. And that's what happened. Not good enough on the night. I thought everyone was pretty average, to be honest. I had a few players above average, but not by a lot. And most of the team were either average or below. And I think we were very wasteful. Also, we didn't really create that much either. Atletico, Suarez on the bench didn't even come on again, and they still get through at the end of the game. Bruno's bitching to the ref, and he was doing it through the game as well. Just, it's ridiculous, and it makes it even more embarrassing even after the result that you got players doing that sort of thing. Rashford after the game when they're leaving is getting abuse from the fans, and then he reacts. I think as fans we're entitled to have our opinion, and some of these players need a harsh shock sometimes, and I don't agree with throwing bottles and stuff like that, but I agree with an opinion and saying things to players like that fan did, and Rashford tries to counteract, but it makes the player look like an even more of a fool than they are, I think, because you're not performing on the pitch. You want to be a politician, you're an athlete first, you forgot that, and you want to be Boris Johnson, and you want to come out and have arguments with the fans and try and act like a hard man and say that you're human, and then apologise the day after when it happens and put a tweet out and think that it makes up for it when it doesn't. If you performed on the pitch, you wouldn't be getting that criticism. And you haven't done it for so long, that's why you're getting the criticism. Because people know that you're all capable of a lot more, but your body language and attitude on the pitch and your hunger has disappeared. You're not the player you was. And I think Rashford looks like a completely stupid person right now. You can't react like that and then put a tweet out the next day apologising and saying that you're only human and you've been getting abuse for ages and like it's hard to deal with. Well, you're going to get that criticism, especially at a club like Manchester United, because the magnifying glass is even closer on you than it would be at other teams. It comes with a club, and if you can't deal with that, then you shouldn't be at the club. If you can't deal with criticism, you shouldn't be at the club. And some of these players are so wrapped in cotton wool and in their own bubble of outside of the real world that they don't understand that. And I think Rashford, for me, I've not wanted him for ages at the club. I don't think he's good enough anymore. I think it's a mindset thing with him. If he could get that right, then I probably would keep him. But he obviously can't get over what this hurdle is. And football is a results business. It's a here and now and not in the future for me. And I'm bored of hearing that we're planning for the future. What about right now? Because the bigger teams are getting further away from us than they ever have done. And we're not doing anything to challenge that. We're always on about a future. What about the here and now? Because you can't go to the future without the here and now. And these players make too many excuses, and I'm sick of it. And I think that the fans had every right to say what they said to Rashford the other night. And he shouldn't have reacted. And that's on him. Getting back to the game, I thought Ronaldo had very little service and was quiet. Alanga was unfortunate not to score. Oblak saves with his face, pretty much. That goes in, it might have been a different game. I thought the substitutes didn't make an impact at all when they came on. When you make a substitute, it's with the idea that they're going to come on and change the game and give some boosted energy and fight, and that didn't happen. And it's not been happening for a while now with the subs. That's the whole point of a substitution, to change the game. And it's like we're not even making subs, because when they come on, they disappear like the rest of the players. That was disappointing. I think Rangnick, in terms of the lineup, I was quite happy with the lineup, to be honest. Other than Maguire and McTominay, I was pretty happy with the lineup. But then the players go out and show that faith that he put in them. So, disappointing. I'm not surprised. Probably Europa football again next year. We don't deserve to be in the Champions League anyway. So, even though I'm frustrated, I'm not that angry. I'm more angry at the individual stuff, like the Rashford thing and the Bruno thing after the game, because you look like complete idiots. And they need to be told that more, instead of getting wrapped in cotton wool all the time and people can't criticise you. What are you, a 2-year-old? I'm fed up with the bitching and throwing toys out of the pram and the spoiledness of the players. this is part of the problem at the club as well, because we don't have leaders. We don't have people that are willing to take criticism and get better. They get the criticism and then they sulk, and then they don't work on it, and so you're not going to improve. So we're our own worst enemy. I'm not surprised we went out, and fair play to Atletico, because I don't think they were great, but they counted on us. They counted on our weaknesses, and that's what good teams do. And they're not even at their best compared to the team they were a few years ago, Atletico, and they were still better than us, and that says it all. I think it was Lodi that scored. I think that's how you say his name. Is the left back. Poor marking. Delo has to cover. He's trying to cover about 2 or 3 Atletico players because I think Maguire was out of position, and just terrible. As for the player ratings, De Gea, I'd give him a 6. He made a very good save at one point. Can't remember who it was from now, but the goal, I don't think he can really do. Maybe he could guess and react a bit quicker, but I think that's more on the defence than De Gea. I thought he maybe an average, but I'd give him a 6, or just above for that one save that I remember. Delo, I'd give him a 6. I thought he tried to get forward and make things happen. A few shots outside the box. Didn't really trouble the keeper, but he offers that, whereas Aaron Wan-Bissaka don't offer that. So I thought Delo was one of the better ones. I actually give Delo my man of the match. Varane, I thought he had an average game. A lot better than Maguire was, but he's getting sucked into the negativity of the players around him now, and the performance levels. He's now getting dragged into that, which I think would happen to any player, to be honest. I'd give Varane an average. Maguire, I'd give him a 3. I mean, he headbutted Ronaldo. He headbutted our own player in the mouth, just to add to the comical effect of the state this club is in. And that's our captain doing that to someone that should be our captain. It just never stops with Maguire. There's always something that you can point at and be like, that's why he's not a leader. That's why he shouldn't be starting games. That's why he's not a Manchester United player. That's why he's not good enough. Every game he does something pretty much. And again, I thought he was poor in the game. Out of position. Caught out of position several times. Slow. Just terrible. He's not a Manchester United player. He's not a captain. He ain't good enough for this club, and I want him out. Maguire gets a 3. Tellez, I'd give him an average. I don't think it was his best game from recent performances. I don't think it was for lack of effort, but didn't really get forward as much. I just don't think it was as effective in this game, but certainly not the worst. I'd give him an average of 5. Fred, I actually thought started well. People were on about he was doing flicks and stuff like Ronaldinho, and that's all very well. I'd give him a 6 for the first half, but the second half I thought he died off. I'd give him an average, but I could see if people gave him a below average for the second half performance, but I would give him an average. McTominay, also an average. Safe passes again, side to side, backwards passes. Just keeping it safe and not really creating in the midfield and being that creative hub we need. I'd also give him an average, but again, I could see if you'd give him a below. Sancho, I'd give him a 5. A lot of people were unhappy with him. I don't think he was the worst on the pitch. Didn't have a lot of service. Probably could do a bit more when he had the ball, but I don't think he was terrible, so I'd give him an average. Bruno, I didn't like the bitching through the game, and I didn't like after the game when he's bitching to the ref. But in terms of performance, he put a ball in at one point, which I can't remember who it was. I think it might have... Someone headed it, I think, and it was a great ball, and I think it was offside. But it was a great cross into the box from Bruno. I mean, he's maybe a bit quiet in the game, but I thought he was okay, so I'd give him a 6. But in terms of the off-the-football stuff, in terms of the moaning, he's got to stop, because he's another one. If he's going to carry on like that, I don't want him at the club, because he's looking like a 2-year-old. Elanga struggled to get into the game. He's unfortunate not to score with that one chance. I think Delo crossed it, and he's on target, and Oblak don't know nothing about it and saves with his face, basically. So it might have been a different game if that went in, but it didn't. And other than that, I thought he was a bit quiet. I'd give him an average of a 5. Ronaldo, a 5 as well, average. Didn't get a lot of service, very quiet. Was dropping deep a lot because of the frustration and wanting to create because he wasn't getting the ball. And I think last night, that was the final nail in the coffin. I can't see him sticking around next season to play Europa League football if we don't get 4th. And we're out of the Champions League already this season, and he's missed the Champions League. So I don't think he's going to want to play in the Europa next season if we don't get it. If we don't get Champions League spots. So I think last night that would be the final nail in the coffin for him. And I think that has sealed his fate in terms of the future of next season. I think he'll be gone now. I think that would have made his mind up in his head. Average for Ronaldo. And then the subs, Cavani, Matic, Pogba and Rashford, they came on and did absolutely nothing. So I gave all the subs a 4. It's like we're not making substitutions. As I said, they're making no impact when they came on. And they haven't been doing, whoever the subs have been for the last month or so, have not been making an impact at all. Ranić, I'd give him an average. As I said, I was pleased with the starting lineup he went with, aside from probably a couple of players. But then the players let him down, and I didn't agree with all the subs he made, but some of them I did, and I think the subs come on and let him down as well. But because we went out of the Champions League, and it was at home, and we still should have won that game, I think you can't give him an above average. But I do think it was more on the players yesterday. So I'd give Ranić an average of a 5. Man of the match, I'd give to Delo. Not surprised of going out. I predicted us to win the game, but it was more in faith than total confidence and belief we would. And I'm not ultimately angry. I'm just disappointed, but I come to expect this from this team now, and that's how far we've sunk. And it's sad, but as long as these owners are in place, it don't matter who the manager is, because we're not going to get the players that manager wants, because that's been proven time and time again from the board and the Glazers. So as long as they're in place, nothing will change at this club. The ambition's gone, the drive and ambition to win titles is gone, and we're happy with getting 4th. It's sad to see, but that's where we're at. And as long as those owners and the Glazers are in place, that's what's going to happen. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Look out for Premier League predictions, which I'll also be dropping later today for the few games this weekend. And then we've got an international break for like 2.5 weeks, which I hate, but that's what's coming up. But yeah, look out for the Premier League predictions for game week 30, dropping a bit later today, guys. Remember, before I go as well, the target is 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of June. I can only do it with your support. So come and support the channel, guys, and join me on the journey to 2,000 subscribers. I'll speak to you guys soon.